You know, I have a million stories about OMAG. It's been such a great run.
Oh, brother.
Pam, I don't think we have enough time.
Oh, okay, okay.
Well, thanks,
Thank you.
Pam.
You're welcome.
Welcome back, Stephen. I did have one more question for you. You know, one of my favorite TV programs is Little House on the Prairie. But I've been hearing about this Little House on 23rd. Can you kind of tell me about that?
Yes. If you go to the present Municipal League building and look across the street, there are 2 or 3 remaining buildings that were probably homes that were probably built in the 1920s. I'm going to say on average they're about 800 square feet. That was the beginning of OMAG as we know it today. The records for OMAG were kept in metal cabinets out on the back porch, screened in. There were holes in the floor that we used to put rugs over, so when city officials would come see us, it looked spiffy. We used to ask it, don't step on the rug. Over time, things got better.
And this house that he was talking about, it would be where the north parking lot is at the Municipal League now. There were 2 houses there. We were in the one that was on the north end of what's now the parking lot.
So one of many changes.
Indeed.
Well, Kevin and Billy, I see you found the founders.
We did.
We did.
We did.
Absolutely.
They are them.
I bet it was interesting finding them.
It was.
I had to catch old Harold out there. He was actually brushing his old horse when we found him.
But he cleaned up. He cleaned up for us.
Harold does clean up pretty good. Well, you know, it's not surprising to me that you guys are here at Belle Isle Restaurant. Stephen's idea, no doubt.
Well, but I believe now that you're here, lunch will be on you.
Lunch will be on me.
Yes, lunch will be on you.
Oh my gosh. Well, did you guys get what John sent you for? Did you get some questions answered?
We got a lot of questions answered, sure did. Got a good history on OMAG.
Well, these guys were there at the beginning. They know. Lunch on me. Well, if I'm buying, we typically need a big table. Why don't you guys find us a bigger
I'll
table?
go get us a bigger table.
We'll
Bill.
do that. Good to see you.
Take care, guys.
Bill, what's your take on OMAG? You've been around 25 years or so. What's your take?
You know, Steve and Harold, I think of OMAG, I think of people. How old were you guys back when this thing got started?
40 years ago?
40 years
I
ago.
was 31 years old.
31. How about you, Stephen?
I was 30-something.
30-something?
3 to 7 years, one.
3 to 7. Can you imagine turning over OMAG to some 30-year-olds now? And yet, you guys were there, had all the ability in the world, and look where we are 40 years later.
Well, we had great board members who were a little bit older.
A little bit
A little bit
older.
older than I was, yeah.
Kept us in check, didn't
They
they?
did at that. They did that.
Well, I think of people when I think of OMAG, and of course I think of you and Harold building such a strong foundation, building the big house with the liability plan on it and the innovating part of the workers' comp plan. But, you know, I think of the people, and then of course the story wouldn't be complete without Pat Parsons. You know, Harold, your tenure ended, I think, in February of 2000, and you went off and started something called the Association of Governmental Risk Pools,
Really fortunate, yeah. Very fortunate.
a national trade association. And I think there were some other Oklahomans that headed up some national organizations, but you kept yours in Oklahoma.
Pretty proud of being able to do that, stay here.
And so I think February, I remember that board meeting very well. I think February 1, your tenure ended, and Stephen, you took the helm as interim, as you've done a couple of times. You've led us as Associate General Counsel and interim CEO. Of course, your signature's on the founding document that started this 40 years ago, and the history before that. I think about October of 2000, Pat Parsons came on board, and about 4 months later, I think in February, the board authorized $25,000 to be expended to see if a property plan would be viable or not. And November of that year, we started a brand new plan to go with the workers' comp and the liability, the property plan. started from scratch, and in June of the following year, we had 223 members. So it was a huge success, continues to be a huge success today. But I think it's the people, I think it's people like Pat Parsons who built on the foundation that you guys laid, added the property plan, and of course you got to think about the buildings. Well, Kevin talked about the little house and the holes in the wall. Where'd you move from there?
Well, we first then moved into what is the north side of the Municipal League building today. That was an addition that was built onto the original building that was going to house some of the OML offices, and the MISO office, and the OMAG office. And as we kind of outgrew that space and we moved up to property that we were renting at 63rd and Broadway, we were there for about 5 or 6 years, I think, and then we needed more space again as we kept growing in program size. And we had a chance to buy a building over on Lincoln Boulevard. And staff was a little leery of it at first because the neighborhood had kind of run down at that time, and I remember the building had security bars on the outside windows. And I remember the look on everybody's face when we first went in there, but we were able to go in. The neighborhood came back. They did the capital, rejuvenated the capital area development, and did extensive remodeling on a building there at 4130 North Lincoln. And
Now, you might remember, we own 2 buildings.
Well, yeah.
Well, how did that happen, Stephen?
Well, Harold bought the building south of the 4130, and we owned that for, I don't know, a year or so, and it didn't have an elevator in it. And we were going to have to spend a lot of money to put an elevator in it. And as we were looking at those figures and chewing our teeth, thinking, why would we spend that much money on an elevator? Then the building just north of it came on the market. We bought it. So we had 2 buildings. So we leased it to an operation, and so we really put our headquarters at 4130 North Lincoln, but we were heavy in real estate for a while.
Yeah.
And of course, Stephen, OMAG's headquartered in Edmond, Oklahoma. Tell us about that move.
Once again, the board agreed with us that we needed a larger piece of property for our operations. And so we knew we wanted to locate someplace around northwest Oklahoma City or even Edmond. And it was when Pat Parsons was with us. And we looked at quite a few places in northwest Oklahoma City, and we just couldn't find the right piece of property because we wanted to be located near a main thoroughfare near the interstate, so when our members came in from out of state, they could find us easily, get to us without any problem. And so we ended up looking at the piece of property in the Fisher Hall complex, which was the last remaining lot. And we liked that. We brought our board over to it. They liked that location. And so we bought the building. Hired the same architects that did the Fisher Hall complex because we wanted to have a building that looked consistent with all the others. And the board liked the plans and gave us the go-ahead, and we put it out to bid, and it came in just under $3 million, and we built a 22,000 square foot building, which is the building we're in right now, and it's a tremendous asset. And it's the asset of our membership. It's not our building, it's our members' building. And as a result, we have a number of municipal associations that come and hold their regular meetings now in our building, and they use our building for training facility also. So it's a great asset for our membership across Oklahoma.
You know, I think that's exactly right. Because when I think of OMAG, I think of people, but I also think of partnerships. We have the Chiefs of Police Association holds their quarterly meetings in our building. The city managers hold their planning committee meetings in our building. The clerks and treasurers and finance officers hold their meetings in our building. The court clerks have held their meetings in our buildings. I think it strikes exactly the right tone. It's very professional but very welcoming, and our house is open to all of our partners. I think one of the things that's made OMAG special throughout the years is the municipal culture that we have and the partnerships we have with our sister organizations. I think that really solidifies our position in our members' minds about who we are and how we understand what they do. I think it's been an important part of our success. Of course, in April of 2014, when we're talking about people, John Woods becomes our third permanent CEO. You had been our interim again, having led the organization through a transition period once again. And John has really made a focus on technology and about what's next, about the power of partnerships. I think we're going to see in 2017 and beyond an OMAG recognition program to strengthen governance of local governments, a liability retention plan that'll be similar in some ways to the workers' comp retention plan. And of course, John's made a big investment in technology. So I think the future's bright for OMAG, but that future's built on the foundation that Harold Pumford and Stephen Reel created all those years ago. And I think Oklahoma cities and towns not only have been much the better off the past 40 years, but they have a bright future ahead. So on behalf of OMAG, thank you so much for the work you guys did, for the strong foundation you laid, for the big, beautiful house you built on it, the work comp plan, the liability plan, for the people that you hired to lead it and to be a partner with our cities and towns. You know, we have a slogan that says, from ordinary people comes extraordinary results. And I think people find the OMAG staff approachable, but at the same time they found them knowledgeable and helpful. And that's a tribute to both you and Harold Stevens. So congratulations, 40 years, a generation. It's really special to be able to spend some time with you this morning.
Thank you a lot,
Thank you,
Bill.
Bill.
Been a great ride, Stephen.
It will continue. It will continue.
Whether on a bike or not.
Right.